This episode of Mirror Mirror is brought to you by Audible.com.
This woman is laughing because she's listening to a hilarious audiobook on Audible. And this woman is laughing because she's pretending her boss's terrible story is funny. Experience the comedy, not your commute. Go to audible.com to start your free 30-day trial today.
Hi, I'm Christopher Judge, and I'm very excited to tell you about the launch of the new Stargate Command, September 20th. Sign up now, go to stargatecommand.co. Okay, what are you waiting for? Go.
Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the starship Enterprise. Its 5-year mission, to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no man has gone before.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the first ever episode of Mirror Mirror, a Star Trek podcast. I am your host, Seth Stewart, and tonight we are going to be taking a look at the first ever Star Trek episode that first premiered on NBC. It is called The Man Trap, and despite being the first Star Trek episode to air on television, although it was the 6th episode to be filmed, The Man Trapped was placed first in the time slot with a Nielsen rating of 25.2% for the first half hour and 24.2% for the remainder. It also aired 2 days earlier on Canadian network CTV. So yeah, anyways, let's get started. So, the plot. The Enterprise arrives at planet M113 to provide medical exams for Robert Crater and his wife Nancy, who operate a research station. Captain Kirk, Dr. McCoy, and a random crewman transport down to the surface as Kirk teases McCoy about his affection for Nancy for 10 years now. They arrive in the research station, and each of the 3 men sees Nancy differently. McCoy, as she was when he first met her, Kirk, as she should look, accounting for her age, and the crewman as totally different, attractive younger woman. Kirk sends the dazed crewman outside. When Nancy goes out to fetch her husband, she beckons the crewman to follow her. And I'm not going to be giving out the crewman's name because I can't even pronounce it right, so my apologies. When Professor Crater arrives, he is reluctant to be examined, telling Kirk that he only requires salt tablets. Before McCoy can complete the examination, they hear a scream from outside. They find the crewman dead, with red ring-like mottling on his face and a plant root visible in his mouth. Nancy says she was unable to stop the crewman from tasting the plant. On board the Enterprise, Spock analyzes the plant. He finds out that the plant is poisonous, but the mottling is not a symptom. McCoy conducts a medical exam and together with Spock determines that the crewman died after all the salt was drained from his body. They spread out to search, but Crater slips away. Kirk and McCoy find the guy's body, and meanwhile, unseen by them, Nancy has killed the crewman, the ones that beamed down with Kirk and McCoy, and Nancy decides to alter her shape, assuming the form of one of the crewmen, and meets Kirk and McCoy. It's kind of like a shapeshifter thing. I never knew that because I kind of watched a little bit of The Man Trap, and it was pretty interesting to see that. And Green, which was one of the crewmen that got killed and transformed into a shapeshifter by Nancy, was following human Janice Rand into the laboratory as she brings Lieutenant Sulu his lunch with a salt shaker. The creature then moves on, attacking several crew members, killing one, and then it decides to shapeshift into the form of McCoy. Meanwhile, Spock confirms that scans only show one person, Crater, on the planet. Kirk and Spock beat down to capture him. They find Green's body before Crater tries to frighten them away with phaser fire. After they stun him with a phaser beam, which was coming from the phaser, the dazzled Crater reveals that his real wife was killed by the creature, the last member of a long-dead civilization of shapeshifters who feed on salt a year earlier. The creature continues to take on the appearance of Nancy out of affection for Crater, and he has been feeding it. Kirk informs his crew of the creature's intrusion as the landing party and Crater transport back to the ship. Crater refuses to help them identify the creature, so Kirk orders the fake McCoy to do some tests on it. And he arrives in sickbay to find Crater dead and Spock injured. Spock's Vulcan blood made him useless with the creature's needs. Back in its Nancy form, the creature goes to McCoy's quarters. Kirk arrives with a phaser to provoke the creature into attacking. McCoy gets in the way, giving, the creature the opportunity to attack Kirk. The creature reverts to its natural appearance and starts to feed on Kirk. And then McCoy saves the day by opening fire on the creature. And then after that, the creature changes back into the shape of Nancy to plead for its life. And as Enterprise leaves orbit, Kirk comments with a degree of compassion that this creature, the last of its kind, was probably not evil, but simply desperate. So yeah, that was The Man Trap, everyone. Yeah, that was the first ever Star Trek episode to air on television, despite the original 2 Star Trek plots. Yeah, that was pretty interesting. But anyways, we're going to be going on break, but when we come back, I will give you some advice on how to follow our podcast. So stay tuned, everyone.
Space. Eternal. Infinite. One generation explored it. Another has conquered it.
Warp 1, engage!
In a triumphant voyage, grossing over $26 million in its opening weekend.
Yes!
Highest in Star Trek history.
Extraordinary.
Turn the page.
This isn't the end.
Now, the crew of the Starship Enterprise embark on their next voyage.
Make it quick!
Engineering the bridge. Initiating emergency shutdown.
They have found a way to penetrate our shields. Fire.
Boldly go. Star Trek Generations 2.
Okay, everyone, we are back. For those who don't know what that was basically the early promotional trailer for Star Trek First Contact, aka Generations 2 at the time when it was in production. So yeah, for those who are curious about if you want to follow our podcast, you can follow us on Twitter at Mirror Trek, And you can follow us on SoundCloud. Just type in Mirror Mirror, a Star Trek podcast, or just type in Mirror Mirror podcast. And so, yeah, and we will be uploading this also on YouTube very shortly. So, yeah. Anyways, folks, I would like to thank you all for watching the first ever episode of Mirror Mirror. And I want to apologize for some of my bits in when I was revealing the man trap. I was kind of stuttering a little bit, so my apologies because I have autism. And so, yeah, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next episode. In the next episode, we will be discussing Star Trek Judgment Rights. So stay tuned, everyone, and thank you all for watching.
Give up, Skeletor. You're finished.
Curse you, He-Man! You interfering imbecile!
Give us one good reason we shouldn't vanquish you to another dimension.
Okay, guys, hear me out. Switching to Geico could save you hundreds on car insurance?
Huh, he does make a point.
Yes!
I do like to save money.
Catch you on the flip, suckers!
Geico, because saving 15% or more on car insurance is always a great answer.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate online at carsforkids.com. That's cars with a K. Pickup is quick and easy. You'll get a vacation voucher and maximum tax deduction.
1-877